O. Keith Owen III, 1964, service to society. A leader, a business executive, a philanthropist, and a veteran, you have served your community, your industry, and your country with passion and purpose. An executive in the oil business for more than 2 decades, and a 26-year veteran of the U.S. Army, both in active service and in the reserves, you have devoted yourself fully to your profession and your country. Upon retirement, you use your leadership, planning, and public relations skills in support of charitable work, raising awareness of and support for the arts, the sciences, and medicine, with a particular emphasis on diabetes research. Your organizational skills, public speaking abilities, and expertise in the areas of business, politics, and communications are worthy of distinction, while your generosity towards others is a model for all. We are proud to celebrate your achievements and to honor you as a distinguished alumnus of Lake Forest Academy. Congratulations.
Good morning, everybody. I want to first say that not only that I am an LFA grad, but I'm also an LFA parent. My son graduated in '95. And if you will indulge me a little bit here, I'd like to offer you a little personal development advice. A couple weeks ago, I had dinner with a friend of mine who is a prominent Houston trial attorney. And as you may know, trial lawyers are extremely skilled in communications. They spend their time explaining complex legal and technical issues to lay juries. And in essence, their ability to communicate is their livelihood. My friend told me about how she was trying to hire a second-year law school intern for her own firm. She identified 3 candidates, one from Tulane, one from Yale, and one from Harvard. As it turns out, none of these candidates was ultimately selected, because not one was capable of carrying on a normal 20-minute conversation with the interviewer. Even though each candidate has achieved high academic marks, not one was able to translate this educational achievement into the most basic level of conversation. My takeaway is that while technology has been a major factor in keeping us connected on a 24/7 basis, an unintended consequence is that we are actually becoming more socially disconnected. Well, you may be asking, well, that's very interesting, Keith, but what does this have to do with me? Well, to be perfectly blunt, I think it has everything to do with your success of your first on-campus interview. It has everything to do with your chance to secure your first full-time job, and it has everything to do with a whole host of circumstances in your personal life. Your ability to communicate and carry on a meaningful conversation will determine likability. Time and time again, studies have shown that candidates that are deemed to be likable get the job, get the girl or the guy, or a research grant. A colleague of mine, Susan Rowan, saw this as a real problem for many business people and wrote a series of books about personal interaction, including one called How to Work a Room. I would like to share a few points from her book, and I'm going to donate this book to the LFA library so you can take a look at it if you have an interest. Let's first define terms. In today's terminology, working a room means creating communication that is warm and sincere, establishing an honest rapport to build a professional or personal relationship, as well as knowing how to start, establish, and end a conversation. Well, what are some of the obstacles to working a room? Well, first and foremost, most of us, and the number is actually 88%, think of ourselves as shy. Another obstacle is when we were young, we were told, don't talk to strangers. This admonition is great for 6-year-olds, but doesn't really work too well if you're trying to build a business, career, or a social network. But for every roadblock, there's a remedy. First, let's redefine stranger. For example, if you are attending a nonprofit event, you may not know anyone in the room, but you are all there sharing a common cause. You need to think about what you have in common with people. This will help you connect in a meaningful way. Second, you need to practice a self-introduction. It is important to find who you are and set context. In my own case, I'm Keith Owen. I'm at LFA this weekend to celebrate my 50th class reunion. Finally, I'd like to offer a few tips on how to actually work a room. To build rapport, you need to establish eye contact and be believable when you say, "It's good to meet you." I try to maintain eye contact by looking at the end of a person's nose. This personally helps me stay focused on that person, and you don't want to give the impression of being insecure by having your eyes roving around the room. Next, practice your handshake. A firm clasp is the business greeting in America. Jellyfish, knuckle breakers, and finger squeezers need not apply. For conversation starters, there are all sorts of questions you can ask regarding the event, the venue, the food, or even the weather. Try to collect and maintain a few of these conversation starter topics for just these occasions. A sincere interest in people is the most important part of being a good conversationalist. Initial topics of conversation are typically small talk. Save controversial topics such as world peace, nuclear disarmament, and global warming for another occasion. And finally, all conversations must end. You want to do so on a high note. In most cases, after you've made your last point, pause, and then extend your hand and say, "It's nice seeing you. I hope you enjoy the rest of," and then you fill in the blank, whether it be the conference, meeting, or party, and then move on to another conversation. So to recap, if you're willing to take a little risk to overcome your natural sense of shyness and approach people with a sense of adventure, you will well be on your way to developing the kind of conversational skills and personal relationships that will ultimately qualify you for a position like my friend is offering. And along the way, you will have had some fun, I hope, and be much better off for having made the journey. Thanks very much.